All in, under orders, and they're all out. Telios just a length or so slowly away. Rami is towards the rear, and in the early stages, it's Elegant Air that goes on, but there's no pace through the first furlong. Elegant Air from Head for Heights, and then Long Pond up on the outside. Then just in behind these comes Takavi. Hatim is now the back marker, but it's Elegant Air in the lead. From in second place, Long Pond. Third is Patrizio, 4 Head for Heights. Fifth is High Debate. Then sixth comes Prince Ragusa. Seventh on the inside is Claude Monet. Takavi Botta just in behind these. Hatim just the back marker. Pigwidgeon towards the rear. So too is Rami. 7 furlongs to go, and it's Elegant Air on the outside of Long Pond. Then comes Head for Heights in third, High Debate pulling quite freely in fourth, Patrizio on the outside of that one. The favourite Claude Monet on the inner of the Takavi Botta, Telios on the outside of him, then Commanche Run and Kerman, followed by Belledale Lear, and behind Belledale Lear is Prince Ragusa, Hatim and Pigwidgeon. Turning for home, past halfway, Elegant Air leads. From Long Pond and Head for Heights, they've got 4.5 furlongs to go. And it's Elegant Air, Long Pond, Head for Heights, Patrizio up on the outside. Belledale Lear is the one that's struggling. They've got 4 to go, and it's a very wide open race with Elegant Air next to the rails, plugging on from Head for Heights and Long Pond. Then behind these comes High Debate. Claude Monet, you can just see him, 4 from the right of the picture in the light-coloured cap with 2.5 to go. Quite a bit to do, Claude Monet. It's Elegant Air in the lead from Head for Heights. Long Pond comes under pressure, but here comes Claude Monet. Hatim also making good ground on the outside. Kerman in behind them. Steve Cawthon asks Claude Monet for an extra gear. He's finding one. They've got 1.5 furlongs to go. It's Elegant Air, Head for Heights, Claude Monet and Hatim. Claude Monet strikes the front with 1 furlong to go. Claude Monet from in second place, Head for Heights. Claude Monet, Head for Heights. Elegant Air and Hatim inside the final half furlong. Claude Monet with Hatim fairly easy on the ground on the outside. Claude Monet's going to win it. Claude Monet in a photo from Hatim. And then came Kerman and Head for Heights. Then Rami and Elegant Air. Then Long Pond, Pigwidgeon, High Debate and Commanche Run. A big gap to Telios. Behind these, Takavi Botta. Also towards the rear was Patrizio. Last was Prince Ragusa. And so the result of this Mecca Dante Stakes, or at least the outcome, is a photo finish, a photo between number 2, Claude Monet, owned by Mr. Daniel Wildenstein, trained at Newmarket by Henry Cecil, ridden by Steve Cawthon. If he's prevailed, and I believe that he has, Steve's 24th winner of this.
Mystery Tour, just a little bit slow from the stalls. Patrizio on the inside, Head for Heights and Commanche Run, and then Executive Pride and High Debate and Rami. Sheer Heights and Kerman on the outside, then Great Western, and finally Mystery Tour. And Head for Heights going on to join Patrizio, and just to take a very marginal advantage. Head for Heights from Patrizio, Commanche Run, Executive Pride and High Debate. Then Sheer Heights and Kerman, and Rami on the inside, Great Western and Mystery Tour. Willie Carson and Head for Heights in command at the moment as they race down to the mile pole in this Edward VII Stakes. Head for Heights from Patrizio and Commanche Run. Then Executive Pride on the inside of Sheer Heights. Then comes Kerman on the outside of High Debate. Then Rami on the inner, Great Western. And finally, Mystery Tour. Past the 7 furlong pole. Head for Heights from Commanche Run. Willie Carson from Darrell McHarg. Then Patrizio. Then Sheer Heights. Then Kerman going well in 5th. Executive Pride moving smoothly on his inside. Just in behind them, High Debate. Then Great Western, Rami, and Mystery Tour. Racing to the 5 furlong marker. Still Head for Heights from Commanche Run and Patrizio and Sheer Heights and Kerman. And behind them, Executive Pride, High Debate and Great Western and Rami and Mystery Tour. Coming to the half-mile pole, still Head for Heights, who's made just about all the running so far. From Commanche Run in 2nd. Patrizio is 3rd, Sheer Heights 4, 5 and 6 are Executive Pride and Kerman. Racing into the straight now in the King Edward VII, and it's still Head for Heights in the lead. From Commanche Run 2nd. In 3rd is Patrizio, then Sheer Heights, then Kerman, then Executive Pride on the inside. Coming to the 2 furlong pole now, still Head for Heights from Commanche Run in 2nd. Kerman making ground. Executive Pride just in behind him. Coming down to the furlong pole. Head for Heights, who's made it all so far from Comanche Run, but Kerman coming with a good run on the stern side. Rami making ground over on the far side. Executive Pride trying to get into the picture. Head for Heights now from Kerman on the near side. Comanche Run between horses racing into the closing stages. It's Head for Heights from Kerman as they race up towards the line. Head for Heights is going to win him, and at the line, Head for Heights with it. It's a photo of a second between Comanche Run and Kerman. Rami was
to go. Head for Heights in the lead from Muscatine to Lovely Dancer. Then Comanche Run, a furlong to go. Head for Heights, Muscatine, Lovely Dancer, Comanche Run. Head for Heights, Muscatine, Lovely Dancer, Comanche Run inside the final furlong. Looks like another one for Leicester. Head for Heights going on by a couple of lengths at the line. Head for Heights is the winner. Muscatine is second. Close for third.
Head for Heights stamping himself as a three-year-old of classic standard.
I mean, the ride he got in the Leisure, as far as I'm concerned, one of the great rides of all time. We're actually going to look at Comanche Run.
Well, this is much more important to winning. This is why he won the Leisure.
Yeah.
This is the first time he rode it. This is the only reason. I mean, any jockey would have won in this day. Don't get me wrong, he's won very easily. It is the first time this horse was given, in my opinion, a proper positive ride. The horse liked to be at the front or near the front and be ridden positively. He'd run at Ascot and run well. He'd run at Newmarket and run well, but both times given a sort of a hold-up ride, and he didn't sort of quicken. First time Leicester gets on. That's what I mean. I just think he knew. I mean, maybe Luca had a lot to do with telling him to ride this way. I don't know, but he realised what his qualities were. Basically, it was sustained, genuine galloping. I mean, he was very effective at shorter trips, but it's the same thing. He used to win over a mile and a quarter by galloping horses into the ground or kicking on some way out and drawing. You know, he could sustain his pace for a long time. Leicester was aware of it in a way that I didn't think his previous jockey had been, and I must be, you know, I think the Leisure was won this day, because ultimately he got back on it, and I think he knew how to get the best out of the horse, basically.
And what was Leisure Day like for you? You were there at Doncaster.
That was a great day, but that's, you know, that's tedious. It's not about me. It's about him. And it was. I think that was a fundamental reason he got back on. I think I think his owner realised that, you know, he was better with the horse.
It was at the behest of Ivan Allen that he got back on the horse.
100%. Yeah. Absolutely. He said Leicester rung him up, which I'm sure he did, and which he used to do. Yeah. I'm not sure Luca was all that happy about him riding it. Understandably, he was being loyal to Darryl McHarg, who is a present jockey. Yeah. Maybe Darryl McHarg would have won that day. I don't think he would.
I mean, breaking a 200-year-old record and the rest of today's sport. Here's Mark Austin.
Yes, Lester Piggott has won the Holston Pill St Leger at Doncaster on Comanche Run. It's his 8th St Leger and 28th classic victory, and breaks the old record that stood for nearly 200 years. Peter Bromley describes the finish.
And it's Comanche Run from Baynoon, who comes under the whip in second place, and Leicester has the lead on Comanche Run. Baynoon running on strongly on the stand side. Suddenly, Shanazar's not out of it. Alpha Baitin coming late. A tremendous race between Comanche Run and Baynoon. Comanche Run and Baynoon. Comanche Run and Baynoon. Comanche Run on the far side. Baynoon challenging in third place on the far side. Crazy. Alpha Baitin's got out of it. But Leicester's going to win it. Leicester's going to win it. And on the far side, Comanche Run is the winner. Baynoon is second. Alpha Baitin and Crazy comes next.
Comanche Run won by a neck, and Alpha Baitin was a further length and a half behind.
So, the best racing of the day in prospect, and of course we have the chance that history will be made at Doncaster this afternoon. If Lester Piggott wins on Comanche Run, then he would set an all-time record of European Classic victories, 28.
No great confidence here behind Comanche Run. He's out to 2-1.
And it's Lester Piggott going on. This one for the record, the 28th Classic, and Comanche Run wins the Leisure from Baynoon second, Alpha Baitin third.
Historic scenes, and you have to congratulate Luca Comani. What a wonderful training performance for Comanche Run.
Luca, how worried were you about the injury and all that? Must have been
on the horse or on Leicester?
I was the horse I had in mind.
It was a nightmare. Yeah, but he got an injury as well, didn't he? Yes. No, the horse, we were worried when it first happened because we didn't know the extent of it, but we were lucky because I think just a little bit worse.
Wonders to us, so under orders and they're away, and tactics in the early stages could play a vital role here. Comanche Run in front, he has made the running. But then he was passed by Head for Heights, and Heidi Bate going with him, and Parliament up on the outside, Miss Saint-Cloud and Carlim just last. And it looks like a pretty good test that Leicester setting on Comanche Run. Steve Cawthon with him on Heidi Bate, and Heidi Bate just going on at the end of the first 2 furlongs. Comanche Run in third, Parliament 4, Miss Saint-Cloud 5, and then Carlim back in 6th place. He normally finishes well. And it's Parliament running just a little bit wide there on the right of the 5 as we look at them. Racing down the back stretch, just over 6.5 to race, and it's Parliament, Heidi Bate, Comanche Run next to the rails, Miss Saint-Cloud, and then Carlim. And it's as they begin the sweep out of the back straight. Comanche Run next to the rails, who comes through to dispute it again and go on by a length to Heidi Bate in second place. Heidi Bate up on the outside there, you can just see half a length behind now. Miss Saint-Cloud being pushed along in third, Carlin in fourth, and Parliament just losing his pitch a bit. That's unusual. As they turn for home, Comanche Run really testing the stamina. Heidi Bate, just a little bit of doubt there for him, just being niggled along by Steve. Miss Saint-Cloud already being pushed along, as to his Parliament, and they've got just over 3 to go, and it's Comanche Run in the lead from Heidi Bate. Parliament now on an even keel and making ground down the centre of the track. Just over 2.5 the race, and Comanche Run has gone 4 clear from Parliament now, who comes out of the pack to challenge in second place. But this is class telling here. Just over 2 to go, and Comanche Run, Lester looks round. Oh boy, you can borrow my binoculars. This is so easy for Comanche Run with 1.5 the race. The rest are running up and down on the spot. And it's Comanche Run by 8-10 lengths now, and already the crowd here are applauding this spectacular victory. Comanche Run, the 11-10 favourite, comes inside the final furlong, 8-10-12 clear. Leicester just looks under his armpits there and looks round. I shouldn't think he can believe just how far clear he is. He must be 8-10-12 clear, if not more, and eased right down at the post. A scintillating victory for Comanche Run. Miss Saint-Cloud is second, Parliament third, Heidi Bate fourth.
5-4 against Pebbles, the final show, and Lester Piggott goes straight into the lead on Comanche Run. So it's Comanche Run settling down in the lead from Pebbles on the inside, then comes Costly Lesson, and finally Bob Back. And Lester clearly setting out to stretch this filly to the limit, to test her stamina to the utmost as he races towards the mile pole in this Prince of Wales Stakes, and passes it, Comanche Run, from Pebbles, Costly Lesson, and Bob Back, and going a good pace. The 1984 St. Ledger winner from the 1984 1,000 Guineas winner, with Costly Lesson quite close in third for Ireland, and Bob Back equally close to Costly Lesson in fourth, and they're racing past the 6 furlong marker. Comanche Run from Pebbles and Costly Lesson and Bob Back, and racing towards the 5 now. Comanche Run from Pebbles, with Costly Lesson going up on the outside of Pebbles. Bob Back, the back marker, and now racing towards the 4th furlong marker in this Prince of Wales Stakes. And it's Comanche Run in the lead from Costly Lesson and Pebbles and Bob Back. Swinging towards the home turn now, Comanche Run, with Costly Lesson second, then Steve Cawthon biding his time on the inside on Pebbles, then comes Bob Back. Racing into the home stretch now, Comanche Run from Costly Lesson and Pebbles. Pebbles going very well in behind Comanche Run and Costly Lesson as they race towards the 2 furlong pole. It's Comanche Run from Costly Lesson and Pebbles. Pebbles coming there strongly now to challenge Comanche Run. Lester Piggott looks over his left shoulder, and Pebbles is coming to challenge Comanche Run now as they race towards the furlong pole. It's Comanche Run from Pebbles, Lester Piggott from Steve Cawthon. Steve Cawthon challenging now, and here comes Bob Back on the stand side. Comanche Run from Pebbles, and Bob's Back putting in a tremendous run on the stand side. It's going to be very close, and Bob Back's going to get up and beat the lot. Bob Back has won it from Comanche Run and Pebbles.
Oh so sharp now, 5-2 on Comanche Run, 5-1. Palace Music just about to go into the stalls, 10-1. And these horses have won over £750,000 in winning prize money. That's it, all in, and they're on their way. Triptyque just dwelt a little bit through the 1st furlong, and nobody that anxious to go on. And Leicester leads on Comanche Run, but looks as if it could be on sufferance. From Oh So Sharp in 2nd place, Supreme Leader back in 3rd, Palace Music 4, Bob Back 5, Triptyque 6. This could develop into a sprint finish. 9 furlongs to race. Comanche Run in the lead by a length to Oh So Sharp 2nd, Supreme Leader 3rd, and then Palace Music, who we know does finish strongly but needs a strong run race to produce that finish, in 4. Bob Back races 5, and Triptyque just in 6. A milder race. No change in the order then. Comanche Run, Oh So Sharp, Supreme Leader, then Palace Music, Bob Back and Triptyque. Interesting to see where Leicester kicks and goes on. 7 out. Comanche Run from Oh So Sharp and Supreme Leader back in 3rd. Supreme Leader in 3rd place. Palace Music on the outside of Bob Back, who has a very good turn of foot, we know that. Triptyque back in last place, 6 out. So it's Comanche Run. Leicester, in fact, just lost his cap. Oh So Sharp on the outside, a supreme leader, and then Palace Music with the white face, Check Jacket Bob back, and Triptyque 5 out. Still, cat and mouse, nobody's yet to commit. Comanche Run in the lead. From Oh So Sharp in second, supreme leader going well in third. They're all going well, they should be. They're class horses, and the race really hasn't yet developed. 4 out. Comanche Run going on from Oh So Sharp. Leicester looks round, and here comes Triptyque up on the outside of Oh So Sharp. And now Leicester just easing. He's getting faster with every stride on Comanche Run with 3 to go. Leads from Oh So Sharp, who could be just caught a little bit flat-footed, but here she goes. Triptyque up on the outside of her. Supreme leader back in 4. Bob back and Palace Music have the Sprout Rings to win. They've got 2 to go. Comanche Run, Leicester really squeezing now, and he's finding an extra gear, but here up on the outside comes Oh So Sharp. Triptyque not done with, just over 1 to race this Comanche Run from Oh So Sharp. Comanche Run, Oh So Sharp, and Triptyque back in third, and Steve Cawthon's going for everything on Oh So Sharp, but at this stage Leicester has him leisure on Comanche Run, and Comanche Run quickening up, and so too is Oh So Sharp. Comanche Run's going to win it. A brilliant piece of riding by Leicester Figure. Comanche Run the winner, Oh So Sharp second, then back in third came Triptyque, then came Supreme Leader, followed home by Palace Music, who never really got into the race, and Bob Back was last. And that's the maestro in action. A win then in the Benson Hedges Gold Cup for number 2, Comanche Run at 5 to 1. Owned by Mr. Ivan Allen, trained at Newmarket by Luca Kimani, ridden by Leicester Piggott. Leicester, who won the race twice before on Dahlia and won it on Hawaiian Sound.
On the betting is that Comanche Run has been forced down to 11 to 10. Irish bookmakers have been trying to oppose this all day, but the sheer weight of money has produced a contraction every time anyone tried to field against him. He's now 11 to 10 to win the second leg of the £1 million bonus, that £1 million bonus that's on offer for any horse that can win the 3 big 10 furlong races this autumn. He has already won the first, the Benson Hedges Gold Cup. The Phoenix Champion Stakes is number 2, and the third leg is the Dubai Champion Stakes at Newmarket. William Hill's go 5 to 1 about him earning that £1 million bonus. In effect, 5 to 1 against him winning today's race and the Champion Stakes.
Moving forward.
Already installed is Damaster, who was third in the Irish Sweeps Derby and who won the Great Voltigeur Stakes on an inquiry. But giving a bit of trouble there is Triptyque.
Triptyque in stall number 5, causing serious problems for Christy Roach at the moment, as horse 5, Leading Counsel, goes in to stall number 4. All ready for the Phoenix Champion Stakes. And they're racing with Reprint, one of the best away. Also up there, Damaster, Comanche Run, holding a prominent position on the inside and leading as they head down to complete the first furlong. Comanche Run in the lead from Damaster, then Leading Counsel, then towards the inside is Scottish Reel, and they're followed by Bayamon. Behind Bayamon is Bob Back, then Theatrical in the next group with Reprint as they race up towards the turn at the top of the course. They've gone about a furlong and a half. Comanche Run, Leicester Piggott taking them along. From Damaster, Steve Cawthon in second. Scottish Reel runs third. They're followed by Leading Counsel. Then towards the inside is Bob Back. Towards the outside is Bayamon. Just behind these, Helen Street with Theatrical. And then Triptyque as they go into the left-hand turn at the top of the course. Comanche Run is the leader, followed by Damaster in second, then Scottish Reel in third. They're followed in fourth place by Bayamon. Behind these, Bob Back, and then Leading Counsel. Theatrical is next, then Helen Street and Vice Admiral and Triptyque, and the back marker of the 11 is Reprint as they swing into the straight with about 4.5 furlongs to cover. Comanche Run in the lead from Damaster in second. They're followed by Scottish Reel. Bayamon runs 4, then Bob Back on the inside 5. Leading Counsel is 6. Helen Street comes a little wide, as does Triptyque. Racing down now into the last half mile, and Comanche Run continues to lead from Damaster second, then Scottish Reel on the inside. Bayamon just behind these. Bob Back trying to improve his position on the rails. Leading Counsel being asked for his effort. Helen Street moving up on the outside, then Triptyque. Reprint is out of it, and so too At the back is Vice Admiral, but Comanche Run is a 2-length lead now from Scottish Reel in second, and their third place is Damaster. They're followed towards the outside by Helen Street putting in a run, then Bayamont Bob back in leading council. Racing down inside the last quarter mile, and Comanche Run out in front. He's 3 lengths clear. Damaster in second, then Scottish Reel, and they're followed by Bayamont, Helen Street, and then Bob back, but racing inside the final furlong. Comanche Run has made it all. He's running on really strongly to win this in most impressive style. The favourite Comanche Run storming clear of the Phoenix Champion Stakes. Racing up the line, Lester Piggott, Comanche Run, the second leg of this $1 million bonus achieved. He's won it well. Bob back is second. It's close for third between Damaster on the near side of Scottish Reel, and then Bayamont 5, then Helen Street, theatrical leading council, reprint and triptych, and last to finish is Vice Admiral. But what an impressive performance that was from Comanche Run, owned by Mr. Ivan Allen, trained by Luca Comani, ridden by Lester Piggott. He made virtually all and fairly slaughtered the opposition in this £261,500 to the winner Phoenix Champion Stakes.
Thanks, John. Yes, as you see, confirmation, Slip Anchor just the favourite by a quarter of a point. Understarters orders for the Dubai Champion Stakes, and they're away. 1.25 miles straight across the flat. Let's see who's the first to go on. It's tight for the early lead. Slip Anchor, the Derby winner, is right up there. Slip Anchor from one of the Frenchmen on the outside, which is Vertige. Slip Anchor the leader, then comes Vertige. Vin de France is very close. Over on the far side, tucked in just behind the leaders, is Comanche Run, bidding for this $1 million bonus. They've come 1.5 furlongs now in the champion. And Steve Cawthon has Slip Anchor out in front. From Supreme Leader now going up in pursuit. Then comes Comanche Run in third. After these three is Vin de France. Then comes Vertige. After these, Palace Music last year's winner. The last four are the fillies Zyzophon and Helen Street and Pebbles, and last of all the outsider Art Edict. But it's Slip Anchor blazing the trail. They've covered 2.5 furlongs already, and the time will be fast. It's Slip Anchor out in front. Leicester, though, has Comanche Run right in the leader's sights in second now. Supreme Leader is third. Then comes Palace Music, followed after these by Vin de France. After Vin de France, on the near side is Art Edict and Pebbles. Helen Street creeping up over on the far side. They're passing the 5 furlong marker, and with Slip Anchor, the Derby winner, still in front, with Comanche Run very close indeed. Then comes Supreme Leader. Back to the stands, and Graham.
Track record could be in sights here as Slip Anchor goes for home. From Comanche Run in second, Supreme Leader being rode along in third. Behind these comes Vin de France 4, and then Zyzophon and Helen Street, and Pebbles getting closer next to the rails. Coming with a tremendous run next to the rails is Pebbles, moving through sweetly to go to dispute third place, and Lester Piggott asks Comanche Run for extra effort. They've still got over 2.5 furlongs to go, and next to the rails it's Slip Anchor and Steve Cawthon. Comanche Run is beaten, and Helen Street up on the outside goes on, and coming inside the final furlong it's Helen Street and Pebbles, and Pat Henry is looking round. This is very, very cheeky indeed. Comanche Run is beaten, forget that. Coming inside the final furlong, it's Pebbles drawing right away from Slip Anchor, Palace Music and Helen Street, and as they come inside the final furlong, the Dubai Champion Stakes is going to be won by Sheikh Mohammed, with Pat Henry riding Pebbles to impressive victory. Pebbles the winner, Slip Anchor second, Palace Music third, Helen Street 4. Behind these came Vertige in 5, then Zyzophon and Vin de France. Comanche Run beat only 2.
And your first English Classic winner with a certain Comanche Run, who you probably guessed I might want to talk about. But your memories, the things changed for him when, for whatever the reason, when he got to Goodwood, when he suddenly became maybe the horse you always thought he'd be, when he won very easily in the Gordon Stakes. Now, a lot's been made by people like me that's, you know, Leicester got on it and Darryl McHarg didn't, but you've always maintained he was just a horse who was improving in his own right, maturing. That's fair.
Yeah, he wasn't bred to be precocious. He was by Randy Gauntlet, who was a horse that produced horses that stayed and that matured with age. And yes, we were actually, before that, we were a little bit frustrated with him because we saw him do some excellent things at home, and we were just not quite doing it on the racecourse, not quite getting there. And when he won the Gordon, that was the first sign that we were beginning to get there.
Was that your idea, or Leicester's idea, or a combination of both, or whatever? He was ridden more prominently in the Gordon Stakes, whereas at Ascot and at he ran very well both at Ascot and at Newmarket. But it looks a little bit one pace, maybe from coming from sort of mid-div or whatever, and he was ridden much more prominently. And from afterwards, that became his run style. That's fair. Yeah.
Well, we finally cottoned on that they had a very high cruising speed, and I can't remember. Ivan Allen had played a big part because he was a very good horseman, and I can't remember, but somehow the idea came between the three of us, Ivan, Lester and myself, that we might as well make more use of him because he had a high cruising speed and he could get horses off the bridle before he came off the bridle.
And he was good at Goodwood as well. I mean, I know he won the Ledger and that, but he was really good that day. That's when he suddenly looked like he was a top horse.
So I wanted to ask a question to the two of you, really. Who believed he would win the Ledger sooner? I mean, when did you think he was a Ledger horse?
One of us needed it more than the other, put it that way. I can tell you that.
When did you back him for the Ledger?
I thought he'd win the Ledger. I thought he'd win the Ledger after the Gordon Stakes, but I wasn't alone.
Had you backed him before the Gordon?
No. I didn't know that where he was going to go, but I thought that was his coming of age, and from then onwards, it didn't come without hiccups. As again, Luca will remind us, in the weeks building up to the Ledger, there was a setback, wasn't there? There was.
Yeah, and one morning when he was warming up in the covered ride, he stumbled and fell on his knees, and he grazed his knee quite badly, and he was bleeding. And obviously the big danger was that apart from the trauma, which luckily wasn't that big, and subsequently we found out that he wasn't sore because of the fall, but then the worry was that the wound might get infected, and obviously we then get an infection, the knee would swell up and the horse wouldn't be at his best. So we worked almost around the clock then by having him in ice packs and on the hosing and to make sure that he wouldn't get the infection. And those were fraught moments as well, because there was also the thing Lester Piggott, Darrell McHarg, and there's lots of fraught moments. Obviously, when you have a stable jockey, I've always been of the opinion, if you have a stable jockey, you have to stick by him.
Absolutely.
There's no point having a stable jockey and then chop and change. Ivan, quite rightly from his point of view, knew, and we all knew, that Lester was a better choice than Darrell McHarg. And so he was pushing very hard for Lester, and I was resisting. And so there was a lot of toing and froing. But obviously the best quote that came out of all that is that when Darrell was asked, when it became official that Darrell wouldn't ride the horse, and he was asked, what will you be doing on St. Ledger Day? And he said, oh, I'd be playing tennis. And then on Ledger Day, on the way up to Doncaster, it was raining, and Lester was reading the Sporting Life, and it said that Darrell McHarg, I'll be playing tennis. He said, looked at the paper and said, he won't be doing that either, will he?
Yeah. Now, did either you or Lester think on Ledger Day this is a top-class mile and a quarter horse next year? That's what's amazing about the horse.
No. At the time we didn't. At the time I personally was just elated of won the Ledger. Only on reviewing the race later on, you remember Baynoon was closing a bit on him, and Comanche Run was just coming to the end of his stamina limit, and so that sort of put a slight bit in my mind about maybe a mile and 6 is not a trip we want to pursue in the future. We'll probably stick to a mile and a half. And it wasn't until the spring of the following year that he started really showing a lot more speed than he's ever shown before. And that's why I thought, well, we can start at a mile and a quarter and then we can move up to a mile and a half. But he was so effective at a mile and a quarter that we stayed at a mile and a quarter and won.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Brigadier Gerard did it with the first one, but then obviously the two most famous races, he beat Oh So Sharp at York in a great race. I mean, a really great, and it wasn't just Oh So Sharp, tripped it, there were some really good horses. And that was, to be fair, a super ride by Lester that day, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. But Lester, we know Lester 99% of the time gave every horse a super ride.
Yeah.
And there was in those days, the bonus potentially of a £1 million bonus to win the Benson Hedges as it was at York, then the Irish Champion,
which was Phoenix Parks then,
and then the Champion Stakes at Newmarket, very old-fashioned in those days. But those three, he won 2 of those 3 legs, which is in itself incredible, considering the opposition that he raced against at the time.
That's right. And at Phoenix Park, he was very impressive.
Yeah, he was.
They never saw which way he went.
Yeah. Possibly his finest hour in many ways. It might have been certainly as good as he ever was.
Yeah.
And you say you thought he was over the top by the time he ran.
Yes, unfortunately, he was a horse that always tended to go over the top come September. When the weather started changing, he was the first horse always to go in his coat. And he was always the first horse to give you an indication that things were changing, the seasons were changing. And he did it after the Ledger, which after all, you know, is beginning of September. And that's why he never ran again after the Leger, because we just saw that he was going off. And then I started having doubts that he would still be all right for the Champion Stakes. And sure enough, he was going in his coat, and his work wasn't as sparkling as before. But what can you do when there's £1 million on the line, and a new ownership? Because by then Coolmore had bought a horse, and everybody wanted him to go, of course, and so did I. And so I kept saying to myself, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's so vastly superior that he'll do it anyway, and he didn't.
Yeah,
he just ran a flat race that day.
I mean, one of the other incredible elements to his story was the fact that he cost 10,000 guineas. Now, I know, obviously, time has passed, and the value of 10,000 then, in the 80s to now, is still quite a lot of money. But the sum of £10,000 to end up with a horse who did all that is extraordinary when you consider the context of time. You won't see many of those.
No, absolutely.
It was actually an old friend of Ivan Allen that bought a horse, somebody called Boggy Whelan.
Right.
And he bought the horse, and I didn't know anything about it, and the horse just came to the yard as a yearling, and we went